Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're taking a look today at the Caldigit TUFF. This is a ruggedized external hard drive that works with any computer with a USB port. This one has a USB Type-C connector at the bottom, and we'll be taking a closer look at this in just a second. But I do want to mention, in the interest of full disclosure, that this came in free of charge from Caldigit. However, all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is paying for this review, and no one is reviewing this content before it is posted. I'll likely be using this as a backup drive. As you can imagine, I generate a lot of big files here doing this YouTube channel, and storage for backup is really important, so I'll be putting it to use for that moving forward. So let's take a look at the hardware here. This is the spinning drive version. This is a 2 terabyte drive. It costs about $180 on Amazon right now. There is also going to be a 1 terabyte SSD available at some point. It is not available right now, but they are communicating that they plan on coming out with one, which might be a really sweet configuration for this, because this has a USB Type-C connector that supports the new Gen 2 standard. So the theoretical data rate is 10 gigabits per second on that. You certainly won't even get close to that on a spinning drive, as you'll see in a minute. It's a pretty good performing drive, but certainly a spinning drive doesn't need that Gen 2 specification. But an SSD might give you some really decent performance in this form factor here. Now, this has got the orange bumper on it, which gives it some protection. You can take it off if you wish, and it's also pretty rugged and sealed here, so they've got metal on here to dissipate some of the heat. It is sealed from dust. It is waterproof, provided you have the thing on here like so. So that port is not waterproof. You have to have the gasket of the rubber outer casing here installed properly on it. So you've got to get it inserted in there and sealed in order for it to be waterproof, but it'll survive up to 3.28 feet, about a meter, for 30 minutes. So if you happen to drop it in a stream while you're walking around, as long as that connector is covered, you should be in good shape from any water protruding inside the casing there. There's other colors available too, so you've got a green one here if you wish. What I really like about it is the casing that it comes in. So this is the box it comes in. It's got a sleeve over it you can get rid of course, but a nice hard plastic case that gives you additional protection. It's probably not waterproof, but close to it. It really seals up very tightly. The hard drive is stored in here. They give you 2 cables in the box. I only have lost one of them already, but you get a USB Type-C to Type-C cable. So if you have a MacBook like this, you just plug it in directly, but you also get the standard USB connector on one end. So you have USB Type-C on one end and a standard USB on the other for regular USB ports. So it should work with just about any computer right out of the box, and you get both cables with it too, which is pretty cool. So let's hook this up and see how it performs. All right, so we got it hooked up to my MacBook here with the USB Type-C cable. Seeing speeds on the writes at about 130 megabytes per second and reads about 134, 135 megabytes per second. About where I would expect a decent performing external spinning hard drive like this one to perform these days. It works just fine for the kinds of tasks I think you would use this drive for. Specifically, this is what you would use out in the field to dump photos and large quantities of video off a memory card, for example. Maybe you're roaming backup, or a way to get those cards cleared off so you can keep on shooting. And of course, having the ruggedness here will give you maybe some added peace of mind when you are copying those files over. So it's really good for that, and this test kind of simulates that. But let's take a look now at a real-world test and see how it does editing video. All right, I did a quick wardrobe change here and brought a more powerful computer to bear for the video editing. This is an older MacBook Pro that has the older USB 3.0 port on it. Remember, though, they give you a cable in the box for each of the types of plugs you might plug into, so you have that covered. This is not the cable it came with. USB cables in my place become a mishmash, so I don't remember which ones it came with, but the cable it did come with, I remember being longer than this one. So if you're concerned about cable length, don't be. I think it'll be long enough to get your job done out in the field. Now, what we're looking at here is a 4K multi-camera edit, and that means I've got 2 simultaneous 4K streams coming over to the computer, and I'm using this editing software, Final Cut Pro, to switch them like I would if I was doing it in real time. And this often bogs down spinning hard drives, but it's actually doing fairly well here with this one. It's not perfect. It's not as good as my portable SSDs are. You can see we're getting a little lag here as we're starting to make some cuts, but this is better than I have experienced before with spinning drives. I think we're definitely seeing an improvement. This is to the point where I could actually get this work done on a spinning drive, which I couldn't do at all before, especially with some of the cheaper ones out there. So this will get it done. It won't be as good as a portable SSD might. I'm really interested to see how well the SSD version of this would perform. I don't think it's out yet, but that would probably be the best choice for ruggedness, because although this is a very rugged design, it's dustproof and somewhat waterproof, but it's not going to be as rugged when it's plugged in and operating. So the spinning drive is a moving machine here. There's a spinning platter. There's a little thing that's moving around around, reading the data, that stuff can get damaged in falls. Even with all this protection on there, there's still a shock that happens when these things are dropped off of something. So if you are planning to take its ruggedness for granted, make sure it's unplugged and not in operation when you do drop it. And remember, you're vulnerable to water while it is plugged in, while that gasket isn't sealing the back out of it. But I do like the overall design. It feels very solid to me, a very nice rugged metal case. The heat feels like it's dissipating quite well off these metal grills on the top and the bottom of it. And the case they give you with it is also pretty nice too, pretty solid, and gives you an added layer here of protection while you're out in the field. But remember, there is no replacement for a good backup. So don't put all your eggs in this basket, even though it's a more rugged basket. You definitely want to have a couple of copies of your data while you're out in the field just to be safe. This is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.